Syracuse.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So orange time. Dino Babers fired after 8 seasons at head coach. So we're looking at a new era of Syracuse football. Fran Brown gets a head coaching job. He's from Kirby Smart's staff. He was a DB coach at Georgia. They bring in an NFL guy. I like this coaching staff. I was just talking about it. Jeff Nixon comes in to be the OC. He's an NFL guy. He was with the Giants last year. Spent a few years with the Panthers as well. So they got an NFL guy running the offense. They also got Elijah Robinson coaching the defense. Now, he's been Texas A&M's defensive line guy for like 7 years. And if you're unfamiliar with Texas A&M, they're pumping out an NFL edge rusher every year. Every single year, there's an NFL edge rusher coming out of Texas A&M. So even though, yeah, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say these guys are unproven at this level of coaching, which is true. I mean, I don't think any of them have even been coordinators before.
They have, as a staff, the top 3, they have a combined 5 games as a head coach, OC, or DC. And those 5 games were interim head coach for.
So you're hating?
Texas A&M. Not hating. I'm not hating. I just think this team has so much hype, and I've never seen Syracuse get this much hype. And obviously, when they get a guy like Kyle McCord, that's huge. But there's so much hype around this team for a team that's
I don't think there's that much hype.
There's a lot. No, dude. Where
are you seeing this hype? You spend a lot of time on Syracuse Twitter.
If you're looking at lists, this team's toward the top of the ACC in every list. I just don't,
because the ACC isn't good.
A lot of people like it. I think Fran Brown, a guy that's a big. Their secondary will be. I think their defense will be great. Their defense is gonna be. I don't really know if the coaching staff mixed together, all so young, will be great. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll completely surprise and be perfect. But I think when you get down to it and there's close games when they don't have guys that have no experience coaching in these games, I think in close games this team could be taking advantage of.
I'm looking at the ACC Football Power Index 2024. Syracuse is 15th out of 17.
The media, no. The fan bases have all said, like, this Syracuse
Who
team.
Cares? Let me say it. Let's see what Sports Illustrated.
Plus this transfer portal stuff they got. Now, they did have a significant boost of recruiting. If you want to pull up the recruiting numbers.
The hype you're talking about is in your head,
no,
bro.
It's not
no
in my
one's
head.
hyping this team up.
There's a lot of hype for Syracuse, and I don't get it.
All right. So anyway, Andy is imagining some hype with the Syracuse team. Anyway, brand new coaching staff. Yes, they're inexperienced, but I don't mind the hires. They're bringing back a ton of production. 16th in returning production, 18 returning starters. So a lot of familiar faces. The problem is this team wasn't very good last year. So a lot of faces that really weren't great last year. Now, obviously, the one everyone's talking about, Kyle McCord, the upgrade at quarterback, the Ohio State kid, who we were actually just talking about earlier. I don't think anyone got a less fair shake than Kyle McCord. I mean, this kid was getting hated on when it's like, he hasn't even been that bad. I mean, I don't think anybody got more unfair hate than Kyle McCord last year.
Yeah, I thought he was a fine quarterback, and obviously he was going to a school that they have one expectation, and it's to win the national championship and beat Michigan. And he did neither of those things, so I guess that's why he got a lot of hate. But he was like getting hate in the middle of the
season. CJ Stroud didn't beat him either.
Oh, no, I know. CJ Stroud didn't get any hate because they knew he was going to the NFL. Kyle McCord, nobody had that hype. I think Ohio State fans are freaking weird. I don't know.
Okay, so like maybe Kyle McCord wasn't first overall pick material, but he wasn't bad at all.
That fan base is used to their quarterback coming in and literally being a star right away. Like Stroud was years ago. Haskins
Fields.
was like, yeah, they are used to their quarterbacks being great right away, and he took some lumps early, but he figured it out at the end, and obviously he didn't beat Michigan, but I don't really think it was his fault either. So he had a good season, and I think that was why Syracuse got a lot of hype, and because they brought in one of the best transfer quarterbacks in the country. I think he was rumored to go to Rutgers for a long time through the offseason, and then just randomly he was like, all right, I'm going to go to Syracuse. It was a really good pickup.
What's the deal with the rest of the Syracuse offense?
Running backs back with Quinn Allen. If
he's good,
he's a stud. I think he or Ott are the best 2 running backs. They're easily 1 and 2 in the running back.
I'm wondering what that offense looks like, because it was, when I think of Syracuse offense, I think Schrader pulling the ball and running it. That's like all they used to do.
They were 9th in run frequency, so you were correct. Yeah,
because Schrader used to just, even when they called a pass play, he would just pull it and run it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think it'll be, I think McCord has a little bit of that in him, though. He could run a little bit.
But he's not Schrader, though. Schrader's like Josh
Schrader
Allen.
Was a guy who could run, yeah. But yeah, running back, LaQuinn Allen's a star. They don't really need anything else other than that. Only one of their top 3 receivers are back, but they brought in multiple transfers from Power 4 schools. So That should make up for that lost production. I don't think that that's a problem, but I don't know if they improved there. The O-line got a lot better. 4 power 4 high regard transfers. These are guys that were ranked in like the top 50 of O-line transfers. So the recruiting was a lot of the reason a lot of people love this staff. I mean, their recruiting was so much better this year than they had been in a long time. So this O-line and this offense overall should be better.
Okay, so improved. I mean, I liked Schrader, but you'd have to say McCourt's an upgrade.
Yes.
You say LaQuinn Allen's back at running back, offensive line looks good. So yeah, you'd have to say Syracuse offense talent-wise has improved. It's a matter of, can the coaching staff take them the step forward?
Yeah. That's the big question to me about this team is the coaching staff and how they can handle an offense. Because like you said, Fran Brown's defensive guy. Elijah Robinson was the guy that actually has experience, deep experience in college. He's a defensive guy. So their offense is going to be a question mark, but I think they're improved enough to where that it could actually be a pretty exciting. Now on the other side, I think they're going to be great. Their their D-line's all brand new. They're all transfers, so that could be the question. But other than that, their linebackers and secondary are going to be very strong. The DBs are very experienced. Plus, Fran Brown was a DB coach at Georgia, so he knows secondaries, and I think that'll be great. And the linebackers is easily the best unit on the team overall. So the only question will be, will they be able to stop the run? They weren't really great at that last year. The secondary was fine, and they got better. So I think this team will get run on a little bit, but other than that, they should be fine.
Well, speaking of getting run on, they're starting off against the Bobcats, who I think are going to have a good rushing attack.
Yeah, that's a sneaky game.
Home against Ohio, it's got to be a win.
It'll be a win.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the Ohio team total over 14.5.
Yeah, I don't remember what the line was on that game, but I looked at it and I was like, that's a little. I think it was 20. I think they were 20-point favorites.
No way.
Something like that.
20?
Yeah, I think it was around 20. Which
17.
Okay, so it went down.
17.
Sneaky pick there.
What you can get means you can get Ohio Bobcats team total over like 15.5.
Yeah.
They can run the ball. Unproven defensive front.
That's a game where I think like Ohio goes into the half up.
No.
Right? Like they go into the half up and then Syracuse figures it out.
All right, so obviously we got to give them a win against Ohio. Georgia Tech.
Week 2, they're going to get ran on all over the place.
I haven't looked at Georgia Tech yet.
That game.
Is Haynes King?
Jamal Haynes and Haynes King both back. They're going to run all over Syracuse.
That's probably a loss then.
Stanford will also run all over them, but I think they'll win the game.
They'll win that.
Because Stanford's brought
Holy
back
Cross
Daniels
is a win. Holy Cross lost their coach.
And their quarterback.
Oh, shit. Yeah, so 3-1.
UNLV. Speaking of UNLV, they play them.
Dude.
They'll play Saluka. They'll beat UNLV. Actually, a weird game, though.
That's a weird game.
At UNLV, 9 o'clock on a Friday.
Dude, and you want to talk about a team that can run the ball. UNLV's got 2 backs.
NC State can run the ball, too. This is a tough
This is tough.
You wouldn't look at the names and be like, this is a tough schedule. But with the way that they're built, their schedule doesn't start well for them.
On Virginia Tech, probably a loss.
They're going to get run over there. BC will be a win.
I don't know. At Boston College?
Hey, BC.
At Cal? Cal's supposed to be good.
Cal should beat them because that's a weird
I mean, they'll beat UConn. So I see 4 wins on here. 5 if you give them UNLV.
This is an under.
This is an under.
Very heavy
under.
This is almost an alternate under. If you can get them at 6 or 5.5.
I'll put them at 6, but I think they would need to steal one to get 6.
I think they win 5.
I mean, Pittsburgh's probably a win too, though.
Yeah, I mean, going on the road, weekday road game at Pittsburgh. This schedule sucks.
This is like
this
what
is
the
brutal because they're starting off with 3 teams that can run the heck out of the ball, and then they're going to Las Vegas and 3 road games in a row.
And Pittsburgh. Oh, never mind. No. They're both very rested going into that. But yeah, you got Narduzzi with 12 days to prepare on the road on a Thursday. Like, I don't love that.
After NC State, which is a huge... There's that game sandwiched in between NC State, who's one of the premier teams in this conference this year. They're just rated in the AP poll. And then you have drones coming in.
Crazy.
That's a tough schedule.
Yeah,
that's
under
tough.
for me.
Under.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll be back tomorrow to do another NFL team, 4 or 5 more college football teams. Also, obviously, the MLB.